Hi everyone, in this video I just want to show you how to download and install R and run a few R commands just to give you a feel about how R works. Again, as I mentioned in class, you're not expected to do any sort of programming. I'm just going to give you the R commands and you're just going to run them and maybe just experiment with them a little bit. To install R, open up your favorite browser, go to www.r-project.org, not .com. .com takes you to some weird site. Okay, click on where it says download R, and you can download the program from various locations and different countries. Let me make this a little bit bigger here. Okay, so just scroll down all the way to US and just pick any US site. Let's just pick Berkeley here. And then pick your operating system. So say you're using Windows, click on where it says download R for Windows. And then click on this thing that says install R for the first time. Okay, download R 3.22 for Windows. So if you click on this, what it will do is start downloading the executable file. And once this is downloaded, you could just start the installation. So let me wait till it downloads. I hope your connection is faster than mine. Okay, so now if you click on this and then hit run, you may get different messages. Okay, so now you could start installing R. Just start installing it and just pick all the defaults. Okay, so hit OK here, you want English, and then go through this installation wizard and you should be fine. Okay, yeah, the R is free. It's not going to ask you for your credit card or anything like that. I've already installed R, so I'm gonna just hit cancel here. Okay, and once you are done installing it, you should see this icon, something like this here, and some of you may see two of them. One says R64-bit and R32-bit. That's fine. I think most of you have 64-bit machines, so it won't matter if you have both of them. And R is not going to interfere with any of the programs that you have. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fire up R and just run a few commands. And again, it's just the purpose is just to give you a feel about how R works, and that's it. You're not going to be an R expert watching this, or even at the end of the semester. You just want to learn enough to just experiment with a few things. Okay, so double click on this icon. Alright, so this is what R looks like. Basically, with this R software, you type in commands, something, and then you hit enter and it'll try to do it. Of course, I typed gibberish here, but it's meant as a tool for interactive data analysis. But it's actually more than that. It's a full-blown programming language. This is the R console. This is where you would type in your commands. It's not like Microsoft Excel, Word, or some other polished packages out there that has a nice menu path and all that. Pretty much for most things, you'll have to type things in here. Some of you may get R Studio. You may have heard about it. That's a fancier version well, it's not a fancier version of R. It's just something that sits on top of R and makes things look a little bit better. But anyway, we'll just go with this. So the way R works again is you type in commands here, and it does it. It executes it for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a script. Script is just a bunch of R commands I've already written. I'm going to put up this script in all space very soon. So to do that, I'm going to go to File, Open Script, and then I'm going to locate this this file. It's on my desktop, It's this thing that says intro script.r. That the extension .r means that it's an R script file. It has a bunch of R commands in it. So I'm going to select that and hit open. So basically what you have here is it's just a text file basically with a bunch of commands. I could have copied and pasted these commands onto a Microsoft Word or something like that, or Notepad, and it would just contain my commands. I'm just gonna do a little bit of rearranging here, doesn't matter. Okay, so what I have over here on top, I have the R script. In the bottom I have the R console, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy the commands from this R script onto this R console. Let me do another thing here too. Pick R console and see, and clear it. Okay, all right, so this is the R prompt here. It's waiting for us. It's kind of flashing. It's waiting for us to start typing in command. Anything you type in here in the R console that starts with a pound sign is a comment line. R ignores it. So you start something with pound, blah 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 blah, hit enter, nothing is going to happen. So these are just my comments about the commands that I'm going to type in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this, and then I'm going to click on this thing over here. It's like kind of two parallel lines, but if you put your little pointer on top of it, it says run line or selection. So I'm going to select this, hit this. Basically what that's going to do is it's going to copy this blue highlighted part and paste it onto this R console. Okay, nothing happened because it was just a bunch of comment lines. Okay, but let's type some actual commands here. 2 plus 2 is 4. It's a good thing. Can do some basic calculations. Minus 4 times 3 plus 3 is minus 9. One thing you have to be aware with R is that it's case sensitive. So there are some constants built into R. So if I type in pi for pi, it gives me the pi value. But if I type in capital P, capital I, it says I can't find it. It doesn't recognize it. It comes in with just about any basic mathematical function that you could think of. Log base 10 of 10 is this function log 10 of 10. That's 1. Cosine of pi, that's a minus 1. If you want to get help in R, you could do it in different ways. Suppose you want some help about the log function. One way to do it is put question mark. That basically tells R that I'm starting to ask a question, and name of the function. So let's say I want to know more about the log function. I'm just going to type in question mark log. When I do this, it brings up your browser, your default browser. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Okay, this is what a typical R help function looks like. It has the name of the function here, description of what the function does, lots of additional information. What I highly recommend is if you start doing this sort of thing, go to examples and start running the examples. So this part where it says examples, after this, everything you see here, you could just copy it and paste it onto R console, and it will run all the commands here. A lot of times when I don't know a function in R, I'll directly go to the example part, because sometimes there's a little too much information here. Okay, here's another way to get help. If you want to get do a search on histogram, you could put in two question marks here. Here's another way to get help. Here's how to start the help menu. So let me just run that one. Okay, so it starts the help page for R. You could click on different places over here. It has some guide about R installation. Has a section on introduction to R, pretty long section, goes over majority of the commands in R. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is, again, let me just re-emphasize that what we want to be able to do is just take some commands that I'm going to give you and have you guys run it. Most of them are going to be simulations. You can't do simulations by hand. You're not going to be expected to do any programming from scratch. So I'm going to give you the commands. but I think it will help you understand the material in class if you're able to run a few simulations. But what I'm going to do for this next part here is I'm just going to run some basic R commands just for demo purposes. Most of these things we're not going to do in class. I just want to give you an idea about what the sort of things you can do with R. Besides being a fancy calculator and a statistical software, it's a full programming language. So you could do most of the things you could do with other programming languages. Here's an interesting function perspective. It draws 3D plots. Let me run it. If you run example perspective, this is the name of the function, it starts running all the examples in the help file for perspective function. Okay, so when you run it, you see that it copied and pasted a bunch of stuff here. A little window popped up here, and it says click or hit enter for the next page. So if you hit enter, it starts running the examples in this help file. So that's an example of some function, a 3D function it plotted, put some extra stuff there, some surface, I have no idea what that is. Here's another surface that it plots. Okay, in R you could make vectors, arrays, matrices, whatever. Again, you know, if you've used MATLAB or some other programming language, it's the same thing. Suppose you want to create a vector of numbers with these numbers in it. You would use the function C for combine, this notation over here says create this vector that has these numbers and assign it to variable v. Okay, so now this v is just a listing of number or vector. So the first entry is 2 seconds, 4, 2, 2, 7, 7, so on. Let's create another variable and put the value 3 in it. Okay, now I'm going to multiply v times x. What this is going to do is it's going to take this 3 and multiply it through to, into this vector. It's going to take 3 times 2, 3 times 4, 3 times 2, so on. Okay, that's what we get. And again, just to give you an idea about, you know, feel about how R works. This is my vector that I just created. Suppose you want to just extract the first element. You say v and in square brackets 1. Oops, not copyright. So it got this too. For example, if you want to get the fourth one, 1, 2, 3, 4, that should be v7. You would type in v7. Oh, I'm sorry. I guess 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got this guy here. Okay. Second 11 there. 4. It is 4. Suppose you want to get, you know, you want to find the minimum, maximum, mean, and the median of this listing of numbers. You would run this function summary. Okay, it tells you the min is minus 11, max is 11, mean is 2.812. This is just the mean, and they found the median 3. Okay, next part is something that we will do. I will give you code to generate numbers from different distributions. Suppose you wanna draw 100 values from a normal distribution, which means 0 and standard deviation 1. This is the function that you would use, rnorm, R for random, norm for normal, and this 100 says generate 100 values from normal distribution and save it into this variable x. By the way, when I do this, it's going to override this x that I had created before, and it won't give you any warning messages. Okay, if I type x here, you see all those 100 numbers that were generated. Let's say you want to look at a histogram of it. You would use this function hist x. Oops, let me close this one. Let me just run it one more time. I had not finished the previous example. That's what was happening here. Okay, so that's the histogram of the numbers that I generated. Sort of looks bell-shaped, but doesn't. Yeah, well, that's what we got. Suppose you want to add color to this. Here's what you could do. There's the color. Suppose you want to generate 100 values from an exponential distribution with lambda is equal to 10. This is the function you will use. R, random number, generate from exponential exp, 100 values, lambda is equal to 10. R calls it rate. Let's look at the histogram. So when we look at the histogram of this guy, it better not look like this. It better be right skewed because exponential is right skewed. By the way, when I ask it to plot this histogram, it's going to override this. You could open up another window and send the histogram to another one, but I'll just skip that. Let's skip it for now. So let's do this. Okay, so this is the histogram of the 100 exponential values we just created. It is right skewed. Let's say you want to plot these 100 numbers that you generated from normal distribution versus this exponential. For whatever reason, you would just use this plot function x versus y. Okay, so that's what it looks like. No discernible pattern, of course. There's no relationship between x and the y here. Okay, the next part what I'd like to show you is some of the idea of package in R and what you could do. So when you start this R, when you first initially install it, R comes with the most basic statistical and mathematical functions. If you want to do fancier stuff, you actually have to download additional quote-unquote packages. These packages will have more sophisticated functions that will let you do more sophisticated things. Suppose you want to download some stock data and analyze some stock data. That doesn't come with this base R. There's a package called T-Series. So you actually have to go out to the internet and get it. And to do that, and especially if you're doing this for the first time, you would run this command, install packages T-Series. When you do this, a little pop-up appears like this, and then you have to pick where you're going to go and download this package. You would select one of the US sites. I guess you could go to one of these two. I don't know, I've never tried it, but maybe there'll be some language issues, I don't know. But you could just pick one of these US sites, hit OK. Now when you hit OK, it's going to go and get this package, which is going to be in a zipped format, and it's going to put it in your computer, someplace in your computer. You don't have to worry about it. Okay, I'm not going to do it because I've already done this, so I'm going to hit cancel. But once you do it, it gave me an error message because I didn't go through with this. But once you do this, it'll just give you some message here, not an error message. If you want to now start using the nice functions that are inside this package, you have to give R an additional command, and that's this command, library T-Series. Okay. It gave you some sort of confirmation here, package for time series analysis and computational finance. So suppose I want to get the Tesla stock data from January 2015 to yesterday. This is the command that I would run. What it did was it actually went to Yahoo Finance and downloaded this stock data. Let's look at a little bit of this data. Okay, it has the date, it has what the Tesla stock value was. This is the end of the data here. Okay, I guess it didn't get to 17th, it went all the way to 16th. But now you could plot it. Okay, so that's the plot of the Tesla stock for this year. If you bought it here, sold it here, you did well. Okay, so there are more sophisticated packages out there. Another one that you could do financial analysis is this QuantMod. Again, if this is the first time you're running R, you have to run this command before you run this. But I've already downloaded this package, so I'm going to start with this. This does similar stuff to that T-Series package, except it does it in a little bit of a fancier way. So let me go to this plot over here and close it. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to use this function over here to get stock data for Tesla again and add some technical analysis indicators to this chart. That's this part. So if you're a stock trader, you like the stuff. It has the Tesla stock here, and then volume here, volume of the shares traded, and then it has this technical indicator, relative strength indicator. Okay, suppose you could do all sorts of stuff with art. Suppose you want to get the cast members of the movie, the Lego movie. Let's see, that's this. You want to go here and get the cast members. Art has packages that will go to websites and it will scrape information from websites. That's this package here, and again you would have to run this first, but I've already done it, so I'm going to start with this. So if I run this bit over here, it goes and gets the cast members. Here's a really cool package. Again, you have to run this first. I've already done it. RGL package. It helps you create plots that you could interactively rotate and move around. I'm going to create a surface here. Okay, so here it is. Okay, it's some function. I believe it's sine of x squared plus y squared over square root of x squared plus y squared. Something like that. Oh, sine of square root of x squared plus y squared over square root of x squared plus y squared, whatever. So that's the surface. But the neat thing about this is that you could move it around here like this. You could rotate it around and look at it from different angles. Okay. And if you want to quit R, you could just go to the R console and type this command. And we haven't done anything here, so you could just hit no. Another way to do this too, you could go to File. Make sure that this R console is highlighted. So the menus, the options for these menus change whether you have this script file active or this R console active. So just click on this R console, it gets a little darker, and then go to File and then Exit. If you're running Macs, this is going to look a little bit different. Okay, the Mac versions actually look a little bit nicer. This is all basically. If you want to teach yourself some more R, and again, the purpose of this course is not for you to learn R or anything like that. All we want to do is just run some basic simulations and generate some basic random some numbers from some specific distributions, and that's about it. But there are a lot of online resources that you could find. One that and only do this if you have time. You could go to datacam.com. Okay, so these guys have some free R tutorial sections that you could get. You sign up here and then you could do it. Okay, and that's all I have. Thank you.